Are we ready? All right.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Learning Planet Festival. This session today is called and is all about Great Global Cleanup, which is one of earthday.org's global campaigns. Hello, I am Devapriya Dutt. I am with earthday.org, which is an organization that grew out of the first Earth Day 53 years ago. And today it engages with over 50,000 organizations in some 190 countries to take the environmental movement forward. So today's topic is the Great Global Cleanup, which is one of our major campaigns. And the idea is to remove billions of pieces of trash from the face of the earth, whether it is from ponds, rivers, beaches, neighborhoods, parks, etc., in order to reduce waste and plastic pollution so that we can actually prevent harm that is caused to wildlife as well as human beings. And every year, it's estimated that we dump about 2.12 billion tons of waste. So if all of this waste was actually put on trucks, they would go around the world 24 times. So with this intent, we started this campaign in order to be able to manage this stunning amount of waste better. And India is projected actually to surpass China as the world's most populous country in 2027. And by 2050, it is supposed to reach 814 million. Waste generation in urban spaces, therefore, would be almost 0.7 kgs per person per day in 2025. So according to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, India currently generates about 62 million tons of waste, so which is quite alarming and shocking. And therefore, it is all the more imperative that we look at better ways of managing waste, and we look at campaigns like this, which encourages people to come together to clean up spaces. So now we have an amazing panelist of speakers with us today. We are very privileged to have you with us today. So thank you so much for taking time out to join us for this evening's talk. I am going to take this opportunity to introduce Mr. Vaibhav Roy of Uttarayan Wildlife. He's an alumni of prestigious Indian institutes such as Indian Statistical Institute and Indian Institute of Management. He is a committed, multifaceted environmentalist whose efforts have helped reduce human-elephant conflicts, develop model villages, offset carbon footprints, and end plastic pollution, as well as increase the green cover in West Bengal state. He oversees weekly village cleanup drives to make those areas plastic-free. And along with his wife, he has started an initiative where they have qualified foresters and a retired forest officer. Together with them, they have formed Uttarayan Wildlife and Uncarbon Private Limited. Welcome, Mr. Roy. We are so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My network is somewhat playing a little bit of tricky. I don't know why I was logged out twice.
Right.
And I'm technologically a little challenged.
No problem. You just take time to see if you can adjust the network. And then in the meantime, I can just introduce our other panelists for today's evening. So Nicholas Nagar from the Eicher Group Foundation, he has first-hand witnessed degradation of pristine ecosystems as a result of unsustainable anthropological activities. He's concerned in particular about the unsustainable waste management practices that evolved as a result of Goa's tourism industry. He has been a part of Royal Enfield, and we have together participated in a very interesting program, and he will talk all about it. Tawan Kanodia is from the Environment Club. He has been the winner of our Great Global Cleanup Heroes campaign last year. He raises awareness about plastic pollution and river cleanup. He is an environmental activist from Uttar Pradesh, working for environmental protection from his ninth standard, and is now a master student of journalism. He's also active in making short films and documentaries on the environment. He founded the Environment Club, a youth organization that mainly works on water conservation, visiting villages, setting up a Jal Chaupal, and communicating with villagers to conserve every drop of water. He has been awarded by Jal Shakti Ministry, Government of India, as the Water Hero. We are so happy to have you with us today. Sawan, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so if all our network is now finally okay, let us begin today's discussion. Mr. Roy, are you able to hear us? Do you have network now? Because I know you have an urgent meeting.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I have my network here. So it's only, I do hope that it behaves. So I mean, I don't know why I keep logging out, getting
Right.
logged out. So
Because right
so
now,
first of all, good evening to all of you. Yeah, tell me.
there's a bit of lag, which is why your screen is frozen for us. We can't really see you. Now it is
Okay,
better. Now it is
okay,
better.
it's. I wonder if it is whether I'm because of indoors. Is it? Should I go outdoors and check if it
So
is
this is
okay?
fine. This is fine now. I think this is fine now. So we can begin by, hearing from you about the wonderful initiative that you have started in the villages of West Bengal, where you have been encouraging cleanup drives every week together with earthday.org. So tell us a bit about this campaign. What are some of the challenges that you've been facing?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So first of all, my salutations to earthday.org for the wonderful work they've done over the decades. Sincerest regards to other eminent panelists, and truly speaking, in their presence, I'm a novice. So all I can do is that all I can tell you is that I am trying. So I've taken steps for the localized areas. So let me tell you about my areas. So,
Unfortunately, I think he just got logged out. There is some problem with the network. While we wait for him, let us talk to. Okay, he's back. I think he's back again. Mr. Roy, can you hear us?
yeah, I can hear you. I'm just checking whether I should go outside the cafe and then things would be better. So it's a problem everywhere in Salt Lake, because you see, we're in the path of the airport.
Right.
So so is it
No
somewhat
problem.
better? Yeah.
While you figure this out, I can just.
I'm here. So
You're here.
I'll
Yeah.
quickly.
Now we can hear you clearly. So you can just continue.
Yeah. So my work currently is restricted to uh, the the very sensitive ecosystem of Sundarbans, which comprises of thousands of rivulets and islands, and is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And the biosphere is also the home of the famous Royal Bengal tiger. Apart from that, the Isuran crocodile and the lot of reptiles, lot of flora, fauna, and the mangroves. Of course, to say the mangroves, the hills of fishes. So the Gangetic dolphin, the list can go on for the Bible. But most of the plants we don't even know. There are so many plants in Sundarbans. So this mangrove is also important uh, for a fact that it is a weekend getaway for tourists. So there have been thousands of hotels which have come up in the islands of Sundarbans. And had it not been for the hotels, I think things would have been slightly better. But as Devapriya said, that we're the second most populous nation, and
You're on mute. Yeah.
So 13 crore people. So in this scenario, what we do is uh, facilitate. Let me first tell you that the villages of Sundarban are quite aware of the fact that it is us, the urbaners, who pollute Sundarban and not them. So I have had occasions where in meetings they have said that you have lovely hotels. Why do you need AC? Don't you think AC pollutes our air? So can't you come to Sundarbans and get some fresh air instead of why do you need the AC? You have AC in your homes. So these are
Right.
the kind of conversation that are raised in the landscape of Sundarbans. So what we
Right.
do is essentially play facilitator. So we give equipments to villagers. We are focusing on 2, 3 villages where we can make impact rather than getting into many villages. So we go
Correct.
to villages. So we give villagers gloves, masks, and if necessary, picking up the sticks. So what villages do is that we have weekly days where they collect waste from their neighborhood. They come to us, and there is a meeting spot, and we have our trucks. So we weigh the plastic waste. We give them the money, and of course there's a recycler present all the time. So the recycler pays the money. We are simply the facilitator who gets the villagers, and we sponsor the truck. There are I also happen to own several companies. So it is my company's truck who goes to the interiors of Sundarban to collect plastic. So there are, of course, well-intentioned individuals who have come forward to sponsor some of the drive. But essentially, it's something that we have done entirely uh, uh, as a social responsibility of uh, the group companies that we work with, and as a repayment of our debt of gratitude to Sundarbans. So Sundarbans, the challenges that we face is not so much from mm, collecting the trash, but what is the infrastructure that is there in terms of the recycling capabilities of the recyclers. So
Right.
not all of them can be blamed, but there is indeed a lot of challenges in terms of their capacities. So most of us, what happens is that the villages comes in with things that the recyclers often reject, and that's
Yeah.
a dampener for them. So, for example, a recycler uh, said that some of the plastics are not clean, so I will not take it. So some recyclers, then what we do is that we said, okay, we will take it, we will do something about it. So don't worry
Right.
about it. So, and there is another problem like thermocol. Thermocol is one of the most dangerous elements, and there is very little recycling abilities present. So uh, then there are bottles, like glass bottles. There are people who come, promise they will take glass bottles. If it is broken, somewhat they don't take. So these sort of challenges are very common in Sundarban landscape. Uh, so what we do also, as very often we have gifted the, I mean, of course, the people who are picking up the villagers who are collecting the trash, there there is a remuneration that comes for every kg of plastic sold. So we often remunerate them by giving gifts like uh, plants, which they can plant in their backyard, uh, uh, things which they can use permanently rather than
Correct.
money,
Right.
which is temporary and can. There is always a danger in villages that it ends up in a liquor shop. So,
Right.
so this is one of the major things. So the thing that we have in future in our agenda is to involve them in not just collecting the plastics, but making something out of them. So that would
Right.
provide them an alternative livelihood. So towards
Right.
this, we have identified the worst sort of plastic, that is the multi-layered plastic, chips packet, biscuits packets, which normally ends up in cement incinerators, which there is
Right.
nothing to be done with them. So what we are trying to do is to get some of the faculties of fashion technology to make them into yarns, and
Wow.
I mean, this idea is open for anybody who wants to do. So I can put you in touch with it's a collective effort, all of us. So I can put you in touch with the fashion designers whom I have connected with. So we
Right.
can make yarns, and then we can make fabric out of this multi-layered plastic. So the idea came from an organization called Kilus Foundation, which is doing it. So we
Right.
plan to replicate that, uh, as well as uh, another thing that we plan to do is another thing that we are going to start from next month is identifying one of the small rivulets that drain into a Gangetic dolphin habitat. So there, what we intend to do is that uh, put up. This was done by the government, but of course, as what happens with a lot of projects, that uh, they start well-meaning and then continuation is the problem. So what we'll do is that we will these small rivulets, we will have nets from one end to the other, not the full depth of the river, of course. So the plastic that floats on the river gets stuck on these nets, and every
Right.
week we will pull it up and then we'll deposit it to the recyclers. So
Oh,
this is will be done in one of the most critical habitats of the Gangetic dolphin, in a place not from Sundarbans. This will be our first step outside Sundarban in a place called Katwa. So there we
right.
will start this project in Bardhaman for the cleanup of for the plastic cleanup, as well as saving the Gangetic dolphin habitat. So
Right.
I think that this is my brief endeavor that I have started, and the challenges I have faced mainly from the recyclers who do a lot more things out of a professional outlook than a commitment towards environment, and the rejection that takes place when villagers come with debris. The rejection that takes place can often be a very big demotivator, and this is where the government needs to evolve policies as how to deal with such kind of plastics. So this is my brief endeavor, and I go by the maxim that my efforts are very little, but I mean that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the first basic step of changing the world is the belief you can change it. So
Absolutely.
I so my deepest regards to each one of you, and I say that I am a novice really in front of all of you and my efforts. But with all of your support, I do think that we can scale this project up. Already we are from one village, we're in 4 villages in just
Right.
a few months. So I'm
Right.
sure that within the coming few months we can scale this up and have an alternative livelihood proposal for villagers very soon. So that's from my side. So thanks, Devapriya, for giving me the
Thank
opportunity.
Thank you so much. It is always so inspiring to know about your work. Kudos to you and your team for the wonderful work that you're doing. And like you said, instead of one person taking 100 steps, if 100 people can take one step each, then we can really go a long way. So we are very fortunate to be working with you, and
Absolutely.
we look forward to being able to achieve these targets by Earth Day. So let's together work towards having a great victory by Earth Day this year. So thank you, Mr. Roy. I know you are very
Absolutely.
tired. You were in the middle of important board meetings, yet you've taken time out for this discussion. So if you have to
My
go and
pleasure.
join, please feel free to, exit if you have to go. That's absolutely fine. Thank you so much for your time. All right, Nicholas, now I would really like to hear from you about the campaign that we did together, which is Leave Every Place Better. The name is quite self-explanatory, but I think I will ask you to talk a little bit about it and how did it go? Did you feel that every place was left better? You're on mute, Nicholas.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Debapriya. Yeah, sure. I would definitely, I'm going to be speaking about our hashtag and our whole campaign around responsible travel. But I think let me start with my experience of doing cleanups and at times how frustrating it can get. And,
Right.
how through persistence and small daily actions, how we can see, great achievements. So, I mean, how people say people in the waste sector don't generally think that cleanups is the solution, right? Because you clean an area up, tomorrow it gets dirty.
Correct.
But I do believe, and I've seen over time, that cleanups is the first step to making that change.
Yeah.
Cleanups have great benefits. I mean, it has economical benefits, social, human benefits, and environmental benefits largely. I mean, it helps promote waste reduction, helps encourage people to recycle, or ensures people to recycle, and also encourages people to reuse. When you see that material out there, uh, generally, I mean, overall, when there's a cleanup happening, it also is a great platform to spread public awareness.
Right.
That whole medium of it. And it also gives the citizens gives an opportunity to participants to make that permanent one-time change. It's a great citizen feeling, and it does. And many times we've seen, even in Mumbai, for example, Juhu Beach, how the citizen movement, what a great restoration of that whole ecosystem it was. And
so that was a campaign that was run by earthday.org.
Wow.
It was under the name of Save the Beach. So that's something that,
Wow, that is so great. Yeah, great to know. So I do think that cleanups do have benefit, more than generally what a recycler would say. They're like, we don't want to get involved in cleanups. You bring us the material, we'll try recycling. They're more of the business side of it. But yeah, cleanups do have a huge benefit. They also, when people see that visual of material just lying up there being wasted, pure resource, it also gives a spark in to some people's imaginations to come up with businesses, social businesses, or whether it's even community-led interventions. For example, we were working with, in one of my previous jobs when I was working with Sahas Zero Waste, we were working with a few panchayats, and so there were a few black spots where people went on dumping, and the waste generation issue mainly, like Bahibab also spoke about his experience in the Sundarbans, is mainly because of tourism and unregulated tourism, and mismanaged tourism. So we've seen places which were black spots in dump yards become composting units, and when those composts went to the farmers, and we had proper segregation stations where people would separate their paper, plastic, glass, metals, and which immediately shows, even people who used to come and dump there senselessly, over a period of time, they did see that benefit when they actually see, the farmers getting your compost, they see value in it. So even as simple as not wrapping your food waste in a plastic bag, to try even decentralized composting to reduce, all of those things do come up in through cleanups. I have a few friends. In fact, there's just one friend of mine, Mikhail, who he saw the amount of glass bottles. Everyone comes to Goa and drinks beers. So he saw the abundance of glass bottles, and he set up a beautiful business called I Was. So where he takes glass bottles, he cuts them up, and he makes all sorts of glassware and cutlery. So from cups to lampshades, to ashtrays, beer mugs, to teacups, the works. And he started his main clients were in Belgium, in Europe, and
Wow.
he's got a huge client there, and he's doing amazing business. The other one I
Lovely.
want to say is Code, who started collecting cigarette butts, which is one of the
Right.
most littered item in the world. They're doing such revolutionary work themselves. So these are all examples of business models and uh, social enterprises that came out from just a cleanup. Like
Clean up.
Bahiba was saying, a long journey starts with few steps. So yeah, I think
Yes.
even just participating in cleanups gives rise to all of those other movements. Um, I mean, I don't want to be speaking about the plastic issue and the man-made disasters that are there. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But let me speak a little bit about what we are doing through our campaign. I mean, we had a beautiful partnership with earthday.org for World Environment Day, where we covered, if I'm not wrong, around 47 locations overall.
Yeah.
We
Yes,
man
I think.
we managed to
Yeah.
divert almost 3,600 tons of
Right.
waste from landfill.
Right.
So yeah, that was a great collaboration and a great event, and we're looking at recurring, repeating those events on a larger scale and on at a local level too. Um, over time, I mean, Aisha Group Foundation has always been involved in CSR way before it was mandated by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Um, I mean, now, I mean, with new notifications coming, the government is making pretty hard for companies to spend their CSR. Nonetheless, we've been, waste is one of the most pressing issues in almost all geographies right now.
Right.
And it brings issues to various sectors of the, of society. But let me speak about a few of the other examples the waste projects that we have done too, which supports cleanups. For example, in Uttarakhand, there are several non-revenue villages which in the forest reserve, where the forest department is trying to throw the tribals away, but they've been staying there for centuries, and they have no support, no panchayats, no support system. So they have a tribal leader, but they have lack of funds and all of that. So over there, we have empowered a group of women through Waste Warriors. There's an NGO working there,
Yeah.
and they're doing some amazing work. And it's such a sustainable model because they create self-help groups. They empower women with all the know-how,
Right.
and it's largely women driven initiative, and these women go around and collect a user fee from every household and every commercial establishment, teach them how to segregate, give them bags, and say, okay, once a week we're going to come collect from you. And they collect a charge, and they go collect from all of the establishments, they sort it out, and they send it for recycling. Royal Enfield did support, and basically that was one of our initiatives,
Right.
which Waste Warriors was the executing organization. And the best thing about these initiatives is that even when the funding goes out, it's a community-led movement, and it is a revenue model in itself. So yeah, that was one of a success story. And we have, from one village, I think we moved to almost 8 villages now all across the mountains, the Himalayas. So
Right.
that's great. And since our focus is largely in the Himalayas, we've been doing a bunch of things there. I'll speak about most of that. I mean, you can even look at our websites, you will find a lot of the work that we do there. We did a
Right.
taxi drivers training, for example, in Leh Ladakh. So when anyone travels to the mountains, they sit in a taxi driver in a taxi for almost a week, eating, drinking, sleeping with the taxi driver. So these
Correct.
taxi drivers are huge agents of change. So we've worked with the taxi driver unions to make them to sensitize them to this huge issue and give them infrastructure to collect the waste and give them points where they can go and dispose that off. So that's
Right.
been a very great success story of ours too. Well, I can go on speaking about it. In Goa, we're doing lots of work with supporting panchayats, municipalities. We're doing a river cleanup project.
Wow.
Um, we also have coined this, one of our main communication around our social mission is leave every place better. And this
Right.
is the message that we are trying to communicate to all of our stakeholders, especially our riders. So we have a large riding community, and I think the community is so stronger than any other motorcycling brand. and it's young and it's energetic, and you're always looking up to do things. And we have this community all around the world. So for example, we had done a one ride back in 2019, if I'm not wrong, 2018, where we had conducted and guided all our riders all around the world to create groups and go out and clean up their spaces, and also look at how we can follow up to support the system. Sometimes just one cleanup is not required, is not
Right.
sufficient. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those are the interventions that we are doing. We're looking at empowering our entire riding community, anyone who owns a Royal Enfield, to be an agent of change.
Yeah.
Mainly because waste is not a nature problem. Nature knows no waste. It's humans that
Correct.
designs such flawed products, and we consume them. We blame the manufacturers and the government, but it's it gets quite rhetoric there. But the small moves we can make, I think a cleanup is the first step towards making a greater change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing such amazing stories. And I know for a fact that what an impact our campaign had. And, it's one thing to say that cleanups do not really matter at the end of the day, because again, somebody will go and litter, but these small steps, drops and drops, make an ocean. So let us really join our hands in at least starting somewhere instead of waiting for somebody else to do it. So you have been an example of that. So thank you so much for doing the work that you do. I shall
Thank you.
now go to Savan. Savan, are you there? You have been one of our great global cleanup heroes. So if you can just unmute and tell us a little bit about your work and all the amazing stuff you did as part of the campaign. You are on mute, Savan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, ma'am. Am I audible?
Hi, Savan. We can't see you.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Actually, पता लगा मैंने like
yeah. Now we can. Hi. So good to see you after so long.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much for inviting me here. It's really a great platform to share our views and to inspire others to do best for their planet, to fulfill their responsibility towards our mother nature. I was a Earth Day Hero Awardee 2022, which was organized at Indira Gandhi. No, where was it? Pragati Maidan.
Yeah.
Pragati Maidan. So, Hanji, New Delhi. So basically, I'm running an environment club organization, which is a youth organization for the past 7 years in my Meerut, Uttar Pradesh, and also we have a team in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh, and it's a totally youth-run organization because we have no senior member in our team, like who is comes under 30s, or even we all are under 24, 23, because we know that running a NGO is it means to be a job of a well settled man who have done his job, or he's he's a married and all that. But when we are in college life, we used to see many things. Okay, whenever we go to college, we see many times a running tap, or a person who is littering, or a person who is spitting anywhere. And college life is a best part of our life, when we can change, when we can mold ourselves to make a better person, basically for us, for our planet. And when we talk about the future, when we talk about the basic or our personal responsibility, we always we should remember that we have a collective we have a collective responsibility, like our India is G20's president, and we are holding a quote of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So जब हम बात करते हैं वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की, तो हमें ये समझ जाना चाहिए कि जो हमारी पृथ्वी है, जो हमारा भारत है, वो बाकी देश जो हैं वो केवल बात करते हैं कि हमें अपने देश का पर्यावरण सुधारना है, हमें अपने लोगों को जागरूक करना है, लेकिन जब हम वसुधैव कुटुंबकम की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये समझ में आता है कि हमें ना केवल अपने भारत को बल्कि इस पूरी पृथ्वी को संवारना है, और ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ये दायित्व ये हमारा ही है। और जब हम बात करते हैं युवाओं की, तो भारत निश्चित रूप से एक कृषि प्रधान देश है, ठीक है, लेकिन यहाँ पर यूथ भी बहुत ज्यादा है, और ऐसा माना जाता है कि आगे आने वाले सालों में यूथ वाला सबसे बड़ा कंट्री हमारा भारत होगा पूरे विश्व में। और ऐसे में अगर हम ये बात करें तो भारत के हाथ में, इंडिया के हाथ में एक बहुत बड़ा चांस है अपने इस कंट्री को, अपने इस नेशन को सबसे फर्स्ट लाने में, इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ रिड्यूसिंग द क्या नाम से जीरो वेस्ट और कार्बन एमिशंस। क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं अगर यूथ ही इस बात को लेके अवेयर हो जाएगा कि हाँ हमें क्या करना है क्या नहीं करना है, और अगर हम समझ जाएंगे कि हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है, कि हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी केवल रील्स बनाना नहीं है इंस्टाग्राम की, हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लोगों को जागरूक करना, उन्हें ये समझाना कि आपकी अर्थ के प्रति क्या दायित्व है। जब हम इस दुनिया में आते हैं तो हमें ये नहीं पता होता है कि हमें क्या करना है, लेकिन जैसे जैसे हम बड़े होते हैं, हम बुक्स पढ़ते हैं, अपनी फैमिली में देखते हैं, तो कई चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जब हमें समझ में आता है कि हाँ ठीक है, ये हमारी लाइफ का हिस्सा है। तो हम क्यों नहीं खुले नल को बंद करने को अपनी लाइफ का हिस्सा बनाए, हम क्यों नहीं लोगों को टोकने को अपना लाइफ का हिस्सा बनाए। हम जानते हैं कि भारत वो एक ऐसा देश है जहां लोगों को टोकना रोकना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि देश ऐसे सुधर सकता है। लेकिन मेरा मानना यह है कि जब हम बुक्स के अंदर चीजें ऐड कर देंगे, जिस तरह हम फोकस करते हैं अपनी हिस्ट्री पर, जिस तरह हम फोकस करते हैं अपनी साइंस पर, फिजिक्स पर, केमिस्ट्री पर, हम क्यों नहीं फोकस करते क्लाइमेट एजुकेशन पर, हम क्यों नहीं फोकस करते एनवायरमेंट एजुकेशन पर। ये बहुत जरूरी है। आई गेस कि हम जब एनवायरमेंटल डे सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, वर्ल्ड एनवायरमेंट डे ऑन 5 जून, अर्थ डे ऑन 22 April, biodiversity day on 22 May, Sparrow Day on 20th of March। तो मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि ये बहुत अनफॉर्चुनेट है हम सभी के लिए, क्योंकि जो चीज हमारे लिए बहुत जरूरी है, जिनके बिना हम रह नहीं सकते हैं, जिनके बिना ये नेचर साइकिल बिगड़ जाएगा, उसको बचाने के लिए हम ये डे सेलिब्रेट करने पड़ रहे हैं। जबकि हमें ये पता है कि यहाँ पानी कितना जरूरी है, जबकि हमें ये पता है कि यहाँ पृथ्वी पर हम रह रहे हैं, यही केवल एक प्लेनेट है जहाँ लाइफ सस्टेन हो सकती है, जहां हम रह सकते हैं, और इसी को हम खत्म करने में तुले हुए हैं। तो ऐसा कोई नहीं करता है, लेकिन हम करने के लिए तुले हुए हैं। अब अगर हमारे घर में कोई व्यक्ति रहने के लिए आ रहा है तो हम उसको अच्छे से ट्रीट करते हैं, ठीक है, लेकिन इसी प्रकार हमारे इस पृथ्वी पर जब दूसरे लोग आते हैं, या फिर हम ये कह लें कि जब नई जनरेशन जब आ रही है, हमारे देश में हर 5 मिनट में कुछ बच्चे हो रहे हैं, यानी कि हमारी पॉपुलेशन रेगुलरली बढ़ रही है। तो हम जो पोल्यूशन इस समय कर रहे हैं, हम जो लिटरिंग इस समय पूरे देश में कर रहे हैं, जो हम नदियों को प्रदूषित कर रहे हैं, ये सबसे बड़ा गंभीर समस्या है। क्योंकि हमारे जो पूर्वज रहे हैं, उन्होंने तो हमें एक हरी भरी धरती दे दी है, लेकिन हम अपने बच्चों को क्या देंगे। इवन हम अपने बच्चे की बात क्यों करें, हम फ्यूचर में क्या करने वाले हैं। कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं होगा कि हम जब जू में जाए तो जू में हमें एनिमल्स ही ना मिले। हम ये बताया करें कि बेटा एक समय पर पांडा हुआ करता था, इवन पांडा खुद इंडेंजर्ड हो गया है, कि एक समय पर ये चिड़िया हुआ करती थी, पैरट्स हुआ करते, क्योंकि ये सबके सब आज वर्ज ऑफ एक्सटिंक्शन पर हैं। और अभी हम वेटलैंड्स डे मनाएंगे 2 फरवरी को, फिर से बातें होंगी कि बर्ड्स को सेव किया जाए, वेटलैंड्स को बचाया जाए, लेकिन फिर हम पूरे साल भर ये भूल जाएंगे कि वेटलैंड्स को हमें ही बचाना है, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी हमारी ही है। हम पानी का संरक्षण करें, हम मांझे का इस्तेमाल ना करें, हम कम से कम मोबाइल का इस्तेमाल करें। ठीक है, आप मोबाइल का इस्तेमाल करिए, बट अब आप ये देखें ना कि अब इस समय हमारे देश में, क्योंकि कुछ देशों में धरती के इस समय गर्मी का मौसम है, यानी कि समर्स है वहां पर, और हमारे जैसे इंडिया जैसे कुछ कंट्रीज में विंटर्स का मौसम है। तो वो बर्ड्स जो है, वो माइग्रेटरी बर्ड्स हमारे कंट्री में आए हुए हैं, वो वेटलैंड्स पर रहते हैं, और कभी कभार वो वेटलैंड्स क्योंकि आउट ऑफ द सिटी होता है, बट कभी कभार सिटी के अंदर भी आ जाते हैं, किसी पॉन्ड पर, किसी वेटलैंड एरिया पर। बट बेसिकली अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, जैसे अभी कल बसंत पंचमी गई है, उससे पहले मकर संक्रांति थी, तो हम लोग जब मांझे को पतंग उड़ाते हैं, उसके अंदर मांझा इस्तेमाल करते हैं, जो कि बहुत ज्यादा हानिकारक है, ह्यूमंस के लिए तो है, लेकिन बर्ड्स के लिए भी। तो वो बर्ड्स उस मांझे में फंस जाते हैं, उनकी डेथ हो जाती है। तो जो हमारे मेहमान है, जब हमने नारा दिया वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का, तो जो हमारे मेहमान हैं, हम उनको भी नहीं बख्श रहे हैं। कितना ज्यादा हानिकारक है ये हमारे लिए, ठीक है। तो हमें इस बात की ओर ध्यान देना होगा कि हम जिस और बढ़ रहे हैं वो जगह सही है, और हम अपने पीछे क्या छोड़ के जा रहे हैं, कार्बन फुटप्रिंट्स हैं हमारे, मतलब हम इस बात की ओर ध्यान ही नहीं दे रहे हैं कि हमारे जो कृत्य हैं वो हमें तो झेलने पड़ेंगे, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा हमारी फैमिली को, हमारे फ्यूचर जनरेशन को झेलना पड़ेगा। क्योंकि जब वो जनरेशन हमारी एज में आएगी तो वो हमें कोसेगी, वो हमें टॉन्ट मारेगी, वो कहेगी कि जब आपके पास समय था पेड़ को लगाने का, जब आपके पास समय था पानी को बचाने का, तो आपने तब क्यों नहीं करा? क्योंकि उस समय अखबारों में भी यही छपेगा कि पूर्वजों के पास था समय, नहीं किया कुछ काम, झेल रहे हम, तब की हेडलाइंस ये होंगी। तो ये बहुत ज्यादा सुनने में बहुत डरावना लगता है कि हमारे को कोसा जाएगा, लेकिन अगर हमारे पास थोड़ा बहुत समय बचा है तो वो आज का है। और मेरा मानना ये है कि चार दीवारों के अंदर बात करने से बेहतर ये है कि हम ऑन ग्राउंड काम करें। हम जैसे अर्थ हीरो अवार्ड मुझे मिला, तो निश्चित रूप से बहुत एक नई मोटिवेशन मिली, और ना केवल बल्कि मुझे, बल्कि मेरी पूरी टीम एनवायरमेंट क्लब को, क्योंकि कहीं ना कहीं ऐसा होता है कि टीम में किसी एक को अवार्ड मिले, पूरी टीम उत्साह से भर जाती है कि अरे वाह, वी गॉट अवार्डेड फॉर आवर एफर्ट्स, वी गॉट अप्रिशिएटेड फॉर आवर टेकिंग स्टेप्स फॉर मदर नेचर। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं हमें इस बात को भी समझना होगा कि क्लाइमेट इश्यूज, एनवायरमेंट इश्यूज जो है ये फेम का जरिया नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि देयर आर सो मेनी पेजेस ऑन एनवायरमेंटल एजुकेशन। मैं देखता हूँ एनवायरमेंटल एजुकेशन पर रोज 2-4 नए पेजेस मुझे एनवायरमेंट के फॉलो करते हैं, लेकिन इसी की वजह से बाकी लोग सोचते हैं कि यार एनवायरमेंट पर तो बहुत लोग काम कर रहे हैं, बहुत सारे चेंज मेकर्स हैं, बहुत सारे एनवायरमेंटल एक्टिविस्ट हैं, लेकिन मतलब अवेयरनेस स्प्रेड करना थ्रू सोशल मीडिया ये तो बेस्ट पार्ट है ही, लेकिन इससे ज्यादा समय है ऑन ग्राउंड काम करने का। हम ये कहें कि हमें कूड़ा नहीं फैलाना है, हमें अपनी रिवर्स को क्लीन एंड ग्रीन रखना है, बट द मेन थिंग इज कि जब हम खुद गणेश चतुर्थी मनाते हैं तो हम तब इस बात को एम्पलीफाई करें, हम तब इस बात को अपने जीवन में उतारें, और हम दूसरों को भी समझाएं। जैसे मैं हूं, लेकिन मेरे यहाँ पर पास्ट 4 ईयर से हम लोग गणेश चतुर्थी पर गणेश जी रखते हैं, हमारे यहाँ पर गणपति बप्पा का आगमन होता है। तो अब हम लोग पास्ट 4 ईयर से हम लोग रेगुलरली
Savan, I'm sorry to cut you. We are really sort of running against time, and so I mean, we are very inspired by the work that you do. So thank you so much. We need more and more committed and dedicated youth like you, because the future really belongs to you. You are the future of tomorrow. So we now know that the earth is in safe hands with committed youth like you. And for the ones who are interested to be a part of the Great Global Cleanup Heroes competition this year, the registrations are still open. The link is going to be there in the comment section. You can find the link. You can visit our Facebook page, Insta page, and you can find the link. Please register. Please share this with your friends and other cleanup groups that you may know of. If you have any recommendations, then do write to us. Let us know about their work so that we can include them as part of this campaign and also recognize their work in terms of the global map that we have, where we are listing out every cleanup drive that is taking place in the country. So thank you so much, everybody, for your time, for all the lovely work that you do. I look forward to meeting you again, online or offline. Have a lovely evening, and I will see you again soon. Bye, 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 Mr.
Bye-bye,
Roy.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
organizing this. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.